smash, crash, hide your stash. Whether storming a catastrophic hostage situation or giving someone a warning for driving with a broken taillight, they are always armed to the teeth, ready and willing to shoot holes in the public with the most qualified of immunity. The police are always the biggest gang in town, and you are on their turf. Most gangs only have cars for drive-by shootings, whereas the police have tanks, and if their particular jurisdiction is tankless, they can always borrow some help from the National Guard. The police have us outgunned. If the police are always perpetually prepared and eager to put us into early graves, shouldn't we be good and ready to give their loving families their life insurance? Shouldn't we know the best ways to kill them? In video games? Yes, the police populate video games almost as much as they overpolice cities. They are ubiquitous in video games, from the dirtiest cops in LA Noire to the roboest of cops in RoboCop. Every video game genre has cops. Fighting games certainly do. For example, Stryker from Mortal Kombat made his debut in Mortal Kombat 3, giving bloodthirsty arcade denizens something wholesome to do with their quarters and tokens. Murder a police officer. Adventure games are packed with the constabulary as well, such as the Police Quest series by Sierra. I would rather someone walk into my bedroom while I was playing Leisure Suit Larry than have someone catch me playing Police Quest. Shameful. There are even police simulators, but damned if I'm gonna spend any more money on this video. Flatfoots in video games have existed since the 1970s. In the 1976 arcade game Cops and Robbers, up to 4 players could choose to be either the cops or the robbers and fire at one another in a high-speed chase. A 1979 arcade game Sheriff showcased one of the earliest instances of murderous justice in video games. A 1980 Atari 2600 game Maze Craze starred a police officer navigating his way through a maze that was meant to resemble city blocks. Atari games never resembled the box art. Cops and Robbers was somewhat of an outlier because the vast majority of police-related games from the 70s, 80s, and 90s had players control the police, not the suspects. Nowadays, almost half of all games with police showcase them as the enemies. If you don't believe that statistic, Google police 40%. We might thank Grand Theft Auto 3 for the uptick in 5.0 as cannon fodder. The police are now stock villains like Goombas, orcs, and Nazis. But there are several key differences. Police officers, unlike Goombas, are significantly more difficult to squish and flatten, a byproduct of having surprisingly human bones. Police officers, unlike orcs, are marginally less attractive. And police officers, unlike Nazis, let us pay tribute to these great big pieces of shit and check out some games that prominently feature law enforcement. If you like what I do, please subscribe and click the bell so that you never miss a video. Support me on Patreon, link in the description. And if you're a police officer, go fuck yourself with your own baton, because this video is not for you.
When your daddy dies, yeah. When your sister cries, who gonna weep when these coppers die, yeah.
Let's start off strong. Cop Killer Games. These games are almost exclusively in service of popping the popo. The 2020 beat-em-up Tonight We Riot is all cops all the time. Tonight We Riot is class warfare in the most literal sense. Everyone has had it up to here with capitalism and fascism. Whether these riot cops individually have right-wing or left-wing beliefs is immaterial. When the people are downtrodden, the police will always be on the side of the bosses. Therefore, they are always the enemy of the people, and that means smashing them in the face with wrenches and burning them alive with Molotov cocktails. Here's how you make one. Tonight We Riot lets us bask in the warm glow of police bodies. Plus, with its side-scrolling format, there is no way for police to kettle us. I love the collective action of the game. Rather than a beat-em-up in which the player chooses between 2 to 4 separate characters with individual attacks and special moves, the player in Tonight We Riot controls a group. You need to adjust your beat-em-up tactics accordingly. We are all in this together. Capital Punishment 22XX is an incomplete game in early access that is not presently receiving updates. It's unfortunate because everything about this game tickles my heart. It was originally called Cop Killer before it changed its name. In Capital Punishment 22XX, the people fight back against a pharmaceutical and healthcare corporation, and the police sure don't like that. If you stand up against corporations that treat us as expendable, why, the mayor of New York might demand a prisoner walk photo op with you to look like a big toughie. The game itself is an action platformer, busting heads and avoiding dangerous environmental hazards. It's giving me Mega Man vibes, so that's always a big plus for me. The cops, that's cops with a K, are all killable. Sometimes you must face a Zerg rush of coppers, and the massacre is magnificent. Capital punishment may never break out of early access. I guess it was just too cool for this world. Nevertheless, the best all cops all kills game must be Postal. For one, by sheer volume alone, each stage has more cops per capita than most others. For another, the assortment of weapons, the apocalyptic arsenal, is so diverse that the glee of choosing which weapon to tear police officers asunder is enough to bring a tear to my eye. Postal takes place predominantly in the United States, but the Postal Dude can also travel to Japan.
Yeah, you don't know the meaning of hell till you've dealt with the Tokyo police, pal.
The Postal Dude is being evicted, and the police have sided with the landlords. Ever notice that in Postal we don't know who shot first? The game simply opens, a new dawn has come, the police are there, the dude is there, and there's just no way to end the rampage. No wonder the Postal Dude went so unflinchingly postal. Maybe it's wrong for the dude to fire at police officers, but if the police shot first, why can't he defend himself? Because of the legal monopoly of violence? Fuck all that. Time to blow up an army base.
Oh my god, this pig wanna take my life.
Not all games that feature cop killing are all about cop killing. Sometimes you get a little cop killing, as a treat. There is a stark difference between a game in which police kills are featured and a game in which police kills are secondary. The easiest way to compare this is the difference between Postal 1 and Postal 2. In Postal 1, there is no way to complete the game without annihilating multiple police departments worth of expendable officers. In Postal 2, you can avoid murdering and urinating on the coppers, if you so choose. You know, if you were hoping to challenge yourself and play a narc run of the game. In the final stage of the game, you can even side with law enforcement against the Branch Davidians. Personally, I have never done this. In Duke Nukem 3D, police kills are secondary. The porcine police officers of the LARD, hilarious, are part of the bloody explosive action. But there are a plethora of non-cop baddies to explode into chunks as well. Good chunks though. Duke Nukem 3D holds up. The same goes for crime sandbox deathapaloozas like Grand Theft Auto. In those games, the criminal character is even more likely to waste other criminals than off police officers, at least during missions. Katana Zero is a 2019 precision action game. It has a prison level, breaking in and then sneaking out. Subject Zero must crawl and slither through the stage, avoiding spotlights and quietly approaching prison guards. There is no option to free political prisoners, but there is an option to slash corrections officers into the saltiest pork products with a razor-sharp katana blade, but the best police pummeling stages belong to Hotline Miami 1 and 2. In the first game, there is a stage called Assault, in which Jacket must barrel through a police station and save taxpayers an enormous amount of money. Hotline Miami requires precise aiming and timing to complete a level, making this cop-tastrophe that much more satisfying. Another stage mandates a more stealthy approach, which is exhilarating in its own Metal Gear Solidian way, but there's a reason I never got into those games. I just want to shoot cops. In Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number, there is a stage called Final Cut. In this bloody rampage, Martin must escape the police station by arranging dozens of police funerals, the hard way.
Police will never help you. Only trust your fists.
Say it again.
Police officer video games sometimes need to veer away from being associated with the modern centralized police force, especially post-Grand Theft Auto. Who wants to play a video game about catching car thieves and preventing the coolest hairdo dude in Liberty City from bludgeoning someone to death on the sidewalk? Freaks, that's who. A bunch of cop-loving freaks. The police are definitionally and inescapably uncool. So how to make them cool? By making these cops not cops. For example, in Resident Evil, the Law Enforcement Task Force is not the LAPD or anything like that in the real world, or anything that has a real-world history of brutality, corruption, and gang associations? Jesus Christ, no wonder everyone has had enough of your bullshit. No, in Resident Evil, our heroes work for STARS, Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Sure, STARS is a division of the Raccoon City Police Department, but Raccoon City itself is fictional. Layer upon layer of not cops. But the best fictional law enforcement division is contained within the 1992 full-motion video classic Night Trap. The name of this not-really cop unit is SCAT. Special Control Attack Team, or Sega Control Attack Team if you are correctly playing Night Trap on the Sega CD. Vampires better watch their non-existent reflections when Scat comes to town. Scat is here to make a mess, and you do the cleanup.
I've been on Xans, keep the coke in the can so you punks understand me.
While exterminating police officers is the name of the game, no matter which game you're playing, evading the cops is its own scandalous adventure, screaming down the highway, running over anyone who stands in your path. Hooliganism of the highest caliber. There's nothing like saying, "Cheese it, the fuzz," and then snatching a getaway car, and another, until the police inevitably catch up, powered by interceptor vehicles supercharged by a bloated city budget. The Grand Theft Auto games introduced the Capo meter, the badge barometer that indicates the player's level of infamy. This has proliferated to other games, such as Just Cause. In fact, the Just Cause sequels may have the best criminal getaways in all of gaming, aided by Rico's grappling hook. Sure, plowing through citizens carelessly walking down the sidewalks is a lot of fun, and another way to escape, but grappling from rooftop to rooftop, avoiding the blundering, dundering police with grace and style, that's my favorite. The grappling hook can also be used as a weapon, but it's nothing compared to machine gunning coppers. The Just Cause series allows players to murderize police officers from all over the world, no longer confined to the fictional streets of Vice City or the non-fictional streets of Los Angeles. Just Cause 3 introduces a squirrel suit, adding more getaway options and combinations, and Just Cause 4 sucks. Okay, it doesn't suck, it's still a good time, but it needed about another year in the oven for the bread to rise. Where is Just Cause 5? I want some causes to justify.
I've been on pills, keep the grams in the seal so you punks understand me.
What about police bosses? Sometimes the only thing standing in the way of your freedom is the man. Final Fight is a 1989 beat-em-up starring a karate man, a white t-shirt man, and the most jacked and stacked politician this side of Jesse the Body Ventura. Final Fight also features a boy in blue boss named Eddie E. He's a corrupt police officer, but deep down, is there really any other kind? The boss's enormous size suggests he gorges on donuts, the classic cop snack immortalized in this soon-to-be Pulitzer Prize-winning photo. In No More Heroes, Dr. Peace is a vice cop who moonlights as an assassin. He has the most ear-pleasing, gorgeous music in the game, performing it himself. Your beautiful and bountiful pipes will not stop me from rendering you asunder, Dr. Peace. The only downside to your death will be one of those obnoxious cop funeral processions, designed by the police to let the city know that someone whose life they actually care about has died, as opposed to the public itself. You can just take the bus to the funeral, motherfucker. Statistically speaking, and this is true, it's more dangerous to be a pizza delivery driver than a police officer, but you don't see the entire city hit the pause button every time someone who works for Papa John's takes a bullet.
I've been all night with my hand on the pint so you punks understand me. Send a pic to the grave.
Trigger-happy, crime-loving Sandbox Games only have so much mandatory police slaughtering. Much of it is optional, but I will take that option every day of the week and twice on Sunday. My favorite metagame to play in such a sandbox is timing myself to see how long I can evade arrest, or death by cop, without actually getting my wanted meter to go down. If my wanted meter plummets, then the game is over, but if I can maintain enough stars or sirens or whichever icon this particular game is using, all while biting and clawing my way through the city's most finest, the game continues. It forces me to stay within reasonable distance of the police at all times to maintain the danger and the fun. Another metagame is simpler: cop kill count. The premise is about the same, but the high score is not related to the clock, only the number of roasted pigs. Saints Row III is an excellent playground for this particular metagame due to the plethora of unusual weaponry. If you're going to kill cops over and over again, you need to diversify your portfolio.
Bad with the brains, punks understand me.
Alright, fair is fair. What about games starring police officers as the good guys? Mappy. Hold on to your civil rights and prepare to die. Mappy is on the scene. In this 1983 arcade classic, Officer Mappy of the Micro Police must navigate through a trampoline-fueled cat house. Mappy is there to confiscate 1980s boomboxes, the Mona Lisa, and other allegedly stolen merchandise. Mappy is conducting asset forfeiture, a policy of recovering stolen merchandise and redistributing it to fund the government, more specifically the police themselves. In fact, asset forfeiture consistently leads to corruption. There was a whole season of The Shield about it. Is that what Mappy is doing? Sure seems like it. He's wearing his police uniform while doing it, suggesting this is an official police action. But if he were there to arrest the cats, he would have backup. Mappy is conducting an asset forfeiture snatch and grab. How many Mona Lisas do you need, Mappy? The existence of multiple Monas scattered throughout the various buildings suggests that these are all fakes. The only explanation is that Mappy is running an underground counterfeit Leonardo da Vinci enthusiast enterprise. Mappy is untrustworthy. I mean, he is a rat after all. Great game for its era. Timing the trampoline jumps and the door slams to knock out the cats requires thinking 2 steps ahead, as Mappy is unable to fight a cat one-on-one. Narc, what a hilarious self-unaware name. Narc, in this instance, is a narcotics officer, a federal agent for the DEA, or a vice cop. An agent who sees someone having too much of a good time and wants to ruin the party. But narc has been generalized as slang to mean someone you cannot trust, a self-serving tattletale. Not the victim of a crime who wants to defend themselves, but someone uninvolved with someone else's business but forcibly makes it their own. The game may as well be called Asshole. In the 1988 side-scroller shooter Asshole, you play an asshole named Max Force, who has a reputation for being a real butthead. Max Force has been given a badge and a disproportionate amount of authority to murder anyone wearing a trench coat walking the streets under the dubious Anti-Trenchcoat Enforcement Act. Officer Max Force had few options in life, what with his name being Max Force. It was either that or become an American gladiator. This narc confiscates money from the corpses of ventilated drug pushers. How else can the police department afford to militarize itself? Look at these weapons. What, did you leave the keys to your tank in the John? Ultra-violent game by the standards of 1988, years before the ESRB was foisted onto the video game industry, coincidentally by politicians who could easily be described as narcs. This arcade bloodsoaker probably got a pass because of the United States' valorization of the police. If parents objected to it, they would have been accused of not supporting law enforcement. The antagonist of Narc is Mr. Big, who runs a drug trafficking organization that doubles as a terrorist organization. Remember those post-9/11 commercials that tried to tie buying marijuana with terrorism? Narc was ahead of the curve in demonizing mostly harmless recreational diversions. The NES port by Acclaim had to cover themselves because this was pre-ESRB. Here is a copy of the instruction manual. Get this. We at Acclaim are pleased to present Narc, the first video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System with a strong anti-drug message. Narc takes gamers through the supreme larger-than-life war on drugs. Although the fast-paced action in Narc is sometimes extreme, it conveys what may often be harsh realities of the drug environment. Yeah, rocket launchers are a daily downtown menace. That is why Acclaim has become a sponsor of Just Say No International. Oh, get fucked. Did Nancy Reagan proofread this? I can't imagine a more embarrassingly American video game than Narc, except maybe those video games made by McDonald's. Give me McRiberty, or give me death. Is Captain Commando a cop? He wears blue and has a star on his uniform that resembles a badge. The 1991 arcade beat-em-up takes place in Metro City, the same setting as Capcom's Final Fight series, but in the distant future of 2026. We only have one more year to clean up Metro City before the prophecy becomes reality. I prefer playing as the baby piloting a mech anyway. Maybe something more explicitly starring police officers. Undercover cops. Much like Captain Commando, this beat-em-up takes place in the far-off future, but in this case it's 2043. The police have failed, big surprise, and have enlisted so-called city sweepers to take out criminals in New York City. When the police in the real world perform sweeps, they are actually just criminalizing poverty by expelling the unhoused from their makeshift communities or public parks. When someone with a home is using a bench but does not need the bench, it's called sitting on a bench. But when someone without a home uses the bench, it's called loitering. If you don't need it, then it's legal. If you do need it, then it's illegal. Great beat 'em up though. Really detailed backgrounds. You can really feel the failure of capitalism. In conclusion, and in summation, the only good cop in video games is Chun-Li. Everyone else can get wrecked. Good luck out there.